Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhujis.
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
I'm so happy to have this special spiritual podcast today. So, as Srila Prabhupada told, the future generation is children and their Krishna consciousness, isn't it, Prabhuji?
Absolutely.
Yes. So, in today's fast changing world where parents are increasingly looking for academic excellence, but also with academic excellence, I as a parent, we always look for the strong values, spiritual education and devotion, and also very important character. So, in this regard, today's podcast is so special because today we have with us His Grace Adideva Giridhari Prabhu. He is the founder of Harmonics and visionary behind VEDA, that is Values Enabled Development and Acceleration, a curriculum which has inspired children's spiritual education programs in many ISKCON centers across the world. Welcome to the podcast,
Thank you.
Prabhuji. We're
Thank
so happy to have you here in ISKCON RR Nagar's podcast. Also, we have with us ISKCON RR Nagar one-man army president, and who has also adapted the VEDA model to
Hare
serve the children and families in our community in Rajarajeshwari Nagar. And we are so grateful to have here Prasadeshwar Prabhuji. Under his guidance, the children of Rajarajeshwari Nagar are having a good vision and also having devotion and character. Thank you, Prabhuji, for today's podcast. We are so happy to have you for today's podcast. Okay, Prabhuji, so first I am so thankful that you are here with us. So
I'm grateful too. Thank you.
yeah, you are the one who has developed this VEDA, that is Values Enabled Development and Accelerator.
Now we call VEDA as Values Enabled Devotion Accelerator.
That's wonderful. That is the requirement. Devotion is the next, is the future, right, Prabhuji? Thank you very much, both the Prabhujis, for joining us with today.
Hare Krishna.
So let's begin. You are ready, Prabhuji? Yes.
Absolutely.
Prabhuji, could you briefly tell us your journey, like what inspired you to dedicate your life to the children's spiritual education? Because we all dedicate our life just for academic excellence of the children, but here it is so special that you have dedicated for spiritual education of not adults but for the children. So I would like to know what is your inspiration, or what made you to take up this goal?
Okay, as such, if I have to talk about inspiration, right at the outset, there is none. There was none.
Okay.
There was no inspiration. There was absolutely no connection with education apart from me getting educated.
I see.
I didn't have any background in education. My parents were not from the education field, nor did I have the inclination to get into education at any point in time. My engineering I did in computer science, and then I was working as a software engineer when I came in touch with ISKCON, and I joined full time as a brahmachari in the ashram. And the very first project, after the initial few months of brahmacharya training, we are given different assignments.
Right.
So the very first project that was given to me was an educational project.
I see.
I was asked to write a book on the message of Gita for students. It was a compilation from Prabhupada's works,
Great.
but that was the first start. I don't know what my mentors saw in me that I would do well in education. So this was in 2001, and since then I've been only in education. So I guess, like in arranged marriage, against today's norm, in arranged marriage, people get married and then begin to love each other.
So true.
So like that, my marriage with education was an arranged one.
Oh, so nice.
So I didn't choose it. I was asked to be part of the educational initiatives of ISKCON, and then I started loving it as I grew in that relationship. So I would say no particular inspiration, but as I moved ahead in my services in the educational field, I started liking it more and more and feeling a lot more committed to it because of Prabhupada's instructions towards how education needs to be dealt with in ISKCON.
Okay, that's very nice. So as you are telling, you didn't choose it. this chose you,
Yeah,
right?
okay, maybe.
This chose you. Maybe because God, has Krishna, Lord Krishna might have chosen you because you have that ability to do. Because we are also witnessing the same curriculum here in Raja Rajeshwari Nagar as well. And my son is also this
Wow,
Vedas
that's very
program
nice.
student. So definitely thank you, Prabhuji, for your beautiful chosen curriculum.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. And my question is, why do you feel childhood is such very critical period for this spiritual development? Because in my age, in 80s or 90s, we were only focusing on academics, getting a job or becoming rich. But now there is a shift not only in the parents' mindset, but also in the whole society that spiritual development is necessary. Why is it so?
I think people have started to understand that mere academic progress and career accomplishments are insufficient for, if I can say, their well being and a happy and joyful life.
Okay.
Contentment doesn't come from material possessions.
Okay.
Contentment and joy actually comes from within. And a precursor to joy or ananda is actually shanti. So Krishna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita, ashantasya kuta sukham.
Okay.
So if somebody is ashanta, somebody is not peaceful, where is the question of sukha for that person? Where is the question of happiness for that person? So
Okay.
I guess our generation, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever, so we were excessively focused on academic and career
True.
accomplishments.
True.
But then over the period of time, we have begun to understand that that alone is not sufficient. Think that happened a little earlier in the West. Usually in India, for importing something, it takes a decade or two.
So true.
So in the 60s and 70s, what happened in the West? The hippie movement, they went against the norm of only looking at material accomplishments, and they were beginning to look at something that was connected to spirituality. But they did not know how to access spirituality,
Yeah.
and therefore they got into drugs and so many other unnatural things. But then Prabhupada landed at the same time.
Right.
At the right time, he landed in the US, and he was able to guide many of them back into proper spiritual activities. So I guess that gap we have also begun to understand, that mere material accomplishments are not sufficient for a happy life. And yeah, I think the other part of your question was, why is it essential that we'll have to train children?
Yes.
I mean, I think it is pretty evident that one, kids are very malleable. They are like sponges.
Right.
In a sponge, whatever you pour,
It
they
absorbs.
absorb.
Right.
So if we pour water, they'll absorb water. If we pour mango juice, they'll absorb mango juice. If we pour some gutter, waste, that they will absorb. So it depends on us what we actually give them. They are very, very receptive, and if the proper foundation is given for them, many times we think that material accomplishments, academics and career, that is the most important thing. But actually the foundation is what a person is within. Sometimes
Right.
we ask a person, okay, who you are. If I ask somebody who you are, they will always talk about their accomplishments, what they have done, maybe their academics. That is what they'll talk about. Maybe little evolved people will talk about their personality. But in reality, what as a person who they are, many people don't talk about it. So if this identity itself is missing, that connect with who really I am is missing, then we are always functioning on the wrong platform. Say for example, in an organization, if a CEO of the company begins to think that he's a guard at the gate, right, what all are happening? First thing is an underutilization of his capabilities.
Right.
Second is he's acting irresponsibly. He's
Right.
not doing what he's supposed to do. So like that, if our identity is not very clear, then we become irresponsible. We are underutilizing our capacities. So all of these things are taking place. So the earlier the better, like what Prahlad Maharaj says in the Bhagavatam, Kaumara Acharet Prajno.
Okay.
Kaumara is the age between birth and 5 years,
Wow.
up to 5 years. So he is saying this Bhagavata Dharma or the devotional practices will have to be given right from that age. We don't have time to wait till the child is 10 years, 15 years, let them become intellectually capable, then we will explain things to them. That is not there. It is like snoozing the alarm. We have kept it for 5 o'clock,
Right.
and I think I've stopped the alarm. I'm just thinking, okay, just 10 more minutes, I will sleep. And then I wake up, it's already 7.
Right, true.
Right? So, like that, many times for parents, what happens is, my child is just 3 years, 5 years, I will wait till he or she is 10. Then, one more snooze happens. Oh, he's only 10, I'll wait till he's 15. By the time he's 18, 20, and then they're out of our
Out of
hands.
the hands.
So, this is what happens in many parents' lives. So, the earlier, the better. A young plant can be bent in, in whichever way we want.
way we want.
But once a plant grows and the stem becomes solid, then it becomes very, very difficult to bend it in the manner in which we want. So, whatever we have to give in terms of the foundational things, we construct the foundation of a building, then we construct the upper portion of the building. We cannot do it inversely, nor can we focus less on the strength of the foundation. So the foundation is the identity of a person, the principles by which that person lives, the mindset of the person. All of these things are the foundations. On that we can build good academics and good career path.
Prabhuji, as you told, like children are like sponge, right?
Yeah.
So now what I am witnessing is the sponge is filled with many things. So I pour spirituality, their friends pour social media, the college lecturers or the school teachers fill with academics, and where they goes to somewhere with film or the social gathering, a party, or the sponge is filled with so many things. I am not able to I pour something, someone else come and pour something. So it is really difficult. In this regard, I would like to know what is the how primarily as a parents I can just not focus on academic achievements and also spiritual experiences alongside the academics.
Okay, so what do we do? Say, okay, from the sponge analogy, let's move to another analogy. Say there is a glass of water, and then we've dropped, say, 2-3 drops of ink into that. So what happens? The color of the water becomes murky.
Right.
So you cannot empty it.
Right.
Human beings, we cannot empty our thoughts. It's not possible.
Right.
So what do? We keep pouring fresh water into the glass constantly. The murkiness will keep getting diluted and diluted and diluted, and over a period of time, the water in the glass will become completely transparent, like pure water. So the quantum of spiritual inputs, the quantum of cultural inputs, the quantum of ethics inputs that we give to the child should be so overwhelming. If the distractions are overwhelming, then the input that we give, the positive input, should be so overwhelming that this becomes a very small, minuscule percentage in their life.
I see.
Because we are not giving that kind of an input, so this becomes a big demon in their lives and hijacks their mind space. So there should be, actually it is not that we overwhelm a child with these kind of things, but we'll have to connect or dovetail what Prabhupada used to say, every single action of theirs, every single moment of theirs with Krishna.
Okay.
So if you are doing this, you please think of Krishna, do it for Krishna, you study for the Lord, you score well for the Lord. Apart from, you asked, how spiritual input should be given and not focus only on academics. Academics is important, but academics is secondary compared to the spiritual inputs that we give. That is a primary.
Yes.
So as there is a structure, as there is very clear learning outcomes defined for academics, similarly, there will have to be a very structured approach towards this education also.
Right.
It will not happen on its own. So that is why we have created a structured curriculum through the VEDA program. So that is one thing, the knowledge part of it. But then that is only the head. but the heart also should be given. The heart is for every child the relationship that the child can have with Krishna, with the Lord. So, for instance, a child is 2 years, 3 years old. The parents can begin to say, "Oh, you are scared." You see in the Mahavatar Narsimha movie,
Right.
how Prahlad, even though he was being thrown down from the cliff, he was always dependent on the Lord. You're scared, you can also pray to Narsimha, or you can pray to Krishna. You depend on Krishna. We'll have to build that dependence with the Lord. We'll have to build that relationship of that child with the Lord. So that is the heart. So we'll have to give both the head as well as the heart. If we do that, then we are ensuring that the child always falls back. Anything may happen in their lives, but Krishna is their fallback. No, they always come back to their relationship with Krishna. So one is structured education. The other is, that is only the the hardware part of it. The software is actually their relationship with Krishna.
I see. So I would like to pose the question to Prasadeshwar Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I would like to know, when you started VEDA program here, so as Prabhuji told, as parents, we have to give the cream to this. But the most of the parents are only not aware of this. So they are only so much into Maya, or they are only so much into this, this outside world. Like, even if we say, please get your kids to this VEDA program or to this spiritual program, they say they're too young. And I'm only not ready, and how can my child be ready to this? So it was a very difficult task, isn't it, Prabhuji, for you also to convince? And how is it that you would like to speak, Prabhuji, for this?
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for wonderful discussion. Thank you, Adideva Giridhari, Prabhu. Yeah, we started this maybe 6-7 years before. As you rightly said, it was challenging. That's the reason we kept a package like here. It's not for children alone, parents also. Whenever I speak parents, I tell them Sunday evening don't cook. Come here, we'll have dinner together. You bring a child, you also be with us. So it's a family affair. It's not just children education. Because as soon as we say children education, yes, as Prabhu said, this is important. But when the child grows little older, child may resist. So that time the atmosphere at home is not there. Child may say, sorry, you are not doing it, why should I do? You are watching IPL, why should not I? That's why we bring parents also. We have a package for the parents. So the parents, family comes together, that makes success. That's the reason we are trying to do that. And we have got a good success. Of course, challenges are there. Thank you.
Can I add to what Prabhu said? Yeah. So, if you see, parents, they are not concerned about academically what their child will accomplish vis-a-vis what their academic accomplishments are. No parent will tell, "Oh, I am only a diploma. I don't want my child to become an IITian." Will any parent tell like that?
No.
Right? No. Why only in spiritual life that kind of a consideration comes? That logic doesn't apply at all.
Right.
So what if you don't know? This is an opportunity for you to facilitate your child to know better than what you know.
So true, I agree. Right.
So why should that be a hindrance in their child's cultural or spiritual development?
Definitely.
They never give the logic that way. Academically, oh, I am only 4th standard, I don't want my child to go beyond 4th standard. No parent says that. Right? So I don't think that's a logical thing. And these days, it becomes very important for us to present everything very rationally to children.
Right.
The right fundamentals need to be given. So, for example, I was just having a conversation with somebody Prabhu knows. No, he said, I had mentioned in one session that there are 5 types of air in the body. There is pranavayu, udanavayu, apanavayu, vyanavayu, samanavayu, like that. So, he is a youngster. He said, I know only one type of air. There are not many types of airs in the body like that. That is a very novice, very, not a very advanced understanding. Like, say, for example, we can talk about that, like here, there is light. We can all see white light. But we know how many wavelengths are there in white light.
True.
What we see, the visible spectrum, is only Vibgyor, only those wavelengths.
Right.
V, I, B, G, Y, O, R. Only 7 wavelengths are visible to the human
Human
eye.
eye.
There are a lot more animals or different species that can perceive, say, ultraviolet or infrared radiations
Nice.
in the electromagnetic spectrum. So what we are seeing is a very thin slice of reality through what is visible to us, but that alone is not reality.
Right.
Reality is very,
Very
very wide,
vast.
very vast, right? So it is a very kindergarten idea
Idea.
to think that, oh, there is only one type of air. That is
Right.
what you know. No, there are so many other things that are there. So we'll have to back everything, and there is scientific, rational, logical explanation for every single practice that is recommended in the Vedic literatures. It is
Okay.
only a question of whether parents tell the kids or someone else, they facilitate someone else tell the kids. It's only a question of that. But kids should receive this information, this knowledge in that manner, in a logical manner, in a scientific manner, in an analytical manner.
Right.
If they receive, they will be able to accept it well.
And my question is, Prabhuji, I understood everything, but what if we tell all this to a child and child is not ready to accept it? The parents are devotees.
Okay.
We tell all the philosophy or we read the scriptures or we tell, but the child is so immersed in this material context or with the social media or with this gaming and everything. What if even the parent want and the child doesn't want to come? How is that as a parent I bring the child?
So we keep trying.
That's
No,
it.
so that's all. We keep trying
And pray to the Lord.
If and pray to the Lord, yes, and that is the reason why we should have started young. We should have started young,
Right.
right? So once a child starts resisting these inputs, then it becomes a little challenging for parents to force. We cannot achieve anything by force.
Right.
You cannot force somebody to love anyone.
Right.
Similarly, we cannot force anybody to love Krishna also. That is also not possible. It has to come naturally.
Within.
And yeah, from within it has to happen. But there are so many wonderful things that we can talk about Krishna to a child, so that loving relationship develops.
Yeah.
That love affair, actually starts.
Yeah.
So that can happen by logical explanations. It can happen by emotional appeal. It can happen by intellectual discussions. Whatever it is. Yena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayet. That is what our scriptures say. Somehow or the other. Yena kena prakarena. Do whatever you want.
Okay.
Mana Krishna niveshayet.
Okay.
Our mind should always run towards Krishna. Our mind should be absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. So if somehow we are able to put that kind of a system into the child, a mindset into the child, then that is our success. And that will never go away. Maybe in the middle, temporarily, they might
grow
off,
off.
but then they will come back to the Lord.
Yeah, right.
That will
So the
always happen.
innate nature of devotion or spirituality is in the heart, because Krishna
Yes.
is in everyone's heart,
Yes.
as always discussed. So as you said, sometime they might deviate, and once they are like struck somewhere, or if you have given the base, they would definitely
They will
come back
definitely
to
come back.
yes. And that is the example is myself. Even I had deviated in my young days, and I was questioning the existence of the God in front of so many people, and once it strikes, and it strikes so much that yes, that's total surrenderance, right,
Right,
Prabhuji?
right,
So hopefully all the children who are watching this comes to the devotion at a very quick age, so that, as you told, Shanti is so important.
Right.
Yeah. Moving on to this discussion is going so good. I don't know how long will it take, but yes, going on, what is the original vision behind this harmonics? Why this Veda curriculum, Prabhuji?
Okay, like I said,
No, yeah.
there was no vision initially.
Right.
At least 2001, when I started, there was no vision. We were only thinking about engaging children. Later on, once we had run programs for maybe 7-8 years, then we we started thinking that okay, engagement is fine, but then transformation is more important. It is not sufficient only to engage children. So we were running camps, we were running contests, we were engaging children in those kinds of ways, but then we were not able to bring lasting transformation in children because we were not touching them regularly.
Okay.
So it is only in the year 2008
Okay.
when we started working on initially we started working on the values education curriculum. That is the time when we started thinking about wanting to have a vision for the initiative.
Okay.
So I think only in 2008 we started working on clear cut purpose for our programs.
Right.
And then if you see harmonics, we
Yes.
have this tagline as making children valuable.
Valuable.
Like we say capable, enable, like that. We want children to become valuable. And each of those alphabets in that word valuable, it's an acronym.
Okay.
So each of those alphabets stands for one quality that we want to develop
Wow.
in children.
That's
So like
wonderful.
V stands for virtuous.
Oh, I
Virtuous means all the good qualities,
Yeah.
the values, right? The principles. A stands for altruistic, means generous.
Wow.
L stands for lively, joyful, prasannatma.
Right.
Like that, each one stands
Wow,
for
that's nice. That's
for
so
one
good.
particular quality that we want to bring in the child. So now what we have done is we have objectives at the program level, at harmonics level. Then we have various programs under harmonics. Parivartana is there, Nisarga is there. So each of those have their own objectives, and then under that modules have objectives. Even every session we have learning outcomes very very clearly defined. So I guess vision now operates at various levels.
Various levels.
So that probably in itself would be a podcast, so I don't want to elaborate.
Right. As you told, so this is very different from the conventional method, this curriculum.
Yes.
So how different is it? Like how you have told, like, what is the curriculum difference between the conventional or a Sunday school program to this
Okay.
program?
So when you say, I mean, by conventional, you mean regular ISKCON Sunday school
Yes,
program
yes,
or
yes.
academic education?
No, Sunday ISKCON program.
All right. So I'll start from the academic
Okay,
part
yes, yes.
itself, so that there is overall understanding. How is our program different from academics? It's very obvious. In academics, we don't focus on all the areas of a child's development.
Right.
It's as simple as that. Like we've over the 25 years that I have spent in education, I was able to develop an educational model. We call it the 4x4D educational model.
Okay.
And there are 16 aspects of education that we have identified.
I see.
I'll just explain a few.
Okay.
Psychologists today, they say there are 4 dimensions to human personality.
Okay.
Like Rumer Gordon, she has written a book called The House with 4 Rooms.
I see.
So she says we are like a house.
Okay.
And just like in a home, we open the windows of all the rooms every day to allow in fresh air and eliminate the toxic air outside. Similarly, she says on a daily basis, we have to enhance these 4 dimensions.
Okay.
And what are those 4 dimensions? She says the first one is physical dimension.
Okay.
The second is emotional. We call it mental or emotional dimension.
Okay.
The third is intellectual dimension. And the fourth is spiritual dimension. So what she basically says is that on a daily basis, we should work on improving all of these 4 dimensions.
Nice.
Physically, we should enhance our physical dimension. So we should do something.
How?
Exercises,
Yoga,
some
walk,
food, diet,
whatever.
whatever.
Yes,
Like that. So physically, we should enhance our dimension. We should do something that will enhance our emotional dimension.
That's very important question.
Very important
question.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, how is a different discussion
That's a different
altogether.
discussion altogether.
We will
Yeah.
have to do something to enhance our intellectual dimension.
Right.
What we consume. There's so much to consume these days.
Right.
What do we consume? And then we'll also have to do something to enhance our spiritual dimension. 4 things, she says. So, any educational intervention, educational program, educational curriculum, educational framework, whatever, should focus on developing all these 4 dimensions. Now, let's look at what academic education is offering. Are they developing all these 4 dimensions in a child?
No.
So, obviously, our program is a little different from that. So, now, interesting thing is, Krishna also talks about these four dimensions in the Bhagavad Gita,
I see.
5,000 years ago.
Oh my
In
God.
the third chapter, he says, Indriyani paranyahur, Indriyebhyam param manaha,
Okay.
Manasastu paro buddhir, Yo buddhe paratastu saha. So he says there is the body which is greater than the Panchabhutas.
Wow.
And then higher than the body, which is made of the senses, is the mind.
Hmm.
Higher than the mind is the intelligence. And even higher than the intelligence is he, the soul. So he has already talked about these four dimensions 5,000 years ago to Arjuna. Not only that, not only does he identify the dimensions, he is also given a gradation of the dimensions.
Wow.
Which is lower, which is higher.
Is it?
Like that, yeah. So he's saying there's a body, higher is a mind, even higher is the intelligence, highest is the soul.
Soul.
So he's also given the four dimensions. So similarly, that is one way in which we differ from academic education. Now, in terms of how we are different from a regular Sunday school program in ISKCON, is like I said, we have a vision, we have clear objectives, we have learning outcomes mapped at every level of the program.
Okay.
Which generally is not the case. Engagement happens. Engagement happens. Children come to a Sunday school, they spend 1.5, 2 hours, and then they go back. We are not looking at a very clear objectives, set of objectives.
Okay.
Against what the child is learning or doing. We are not mapping that at all, right? So that is how we are probably different from other Sunday school curriculum. Maybe they are there, but I am not aware of an extremely structured program where we are moving a child just as in academic education from one level to another. So what we have developed for VEDA is a 15-year curriculum. A child can enter VEDA at 6 years and go on up to 20 years.
Wow, great.
Learning conceptually higher and higher things as they move through the various levels. Level 1 to level 15.
Okay, like how they start from LKG till they finish
Exactly.
like that. Very nice, Prabhuji. Actually, goosebumps discussion with what you have told, like, 4 dimensions and what even in the chapter 3rd of Bhagavad Gita, it's so giving the so much, like, the thoughts are getting cleared. So very nice, actually. I request all the children or the parents who are watching this to please enroll to this beautiful program so that not only children get benefited, as a family which prays together, stays together.
Fantastic.
So, yeah. So let's all of them start together this beautiful program, and such insightful like talk from both the Prabhujis. I would like to ask Prasadeshwar Prabhuji. Prabhuji, could you kindly share us like what are the initiatives ISKCON Rajarajeshwari Nagar has undertaken for the children's spiritual education for the local community here, and why the center chose to adopt this program?
Thank you, Mataji. See, as I think Prabhu has already explained the importance of children education and more of how this VEDA program structured. Last 7 years we did that. We understood so many other programs. We wanted a program which can cater everything. As Prabhu said, from the 5th year, the program starts as, we call it as Pauganda, 6 year, up to Yavana, maybe up to 20 years. So I was looking at different programs within ISKCON itself. Man, I'm not able to get exactly to cater everything. That's where we met with the Prabhu and really understood the program. So this program caters needs of everybody. Of course, Rajarajeshwari Nagar, the place of spirituality. It's called Rajarajeshwari Nagar. Devi Rajeshwari is here. So it's her lotus feet. Yesterday we had a good association with the Swamiji. He has blessed us. So this area, maybe I'll say it in Kannada, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜೇಶ್ವರಿ ನಗರದ ಜನರಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಕ್ತಿಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿಬೇಕು ಮತ್ತು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ತಿಳಿಬೇಕು ಉದ್ದೇಶದಿಂದ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. We should reach more people here. That's the reason we started this. The vision is to reach as many people as possible so that everybody gets a benefit. That's our plan.
So how difficult is it for you to get the children, Prabhuji?
Yeah, I mean, I think discussed. Parents are
Parents are only not aware.
they're busy.
Busy, yes.
I see many time because normally in the message I say, please don't drop the children down. Please bring it up to the hall, hand over the teacher, and then go. But many time they don't have time. They, of course, they're busy with so many things. So we are trying our best. We are trying social media. We're trying convincing them, speaking to them, and it's coming. So just to tell you, Veda class now we have around 40 kids registered, Pauganda and Kaishwara, and some more will register this week. So and it will coming. It will come. And spiritual education is not easy. Prabhupada itself tried so much, it find difficult. So it's easy. Like Krishna also says, everybody doesn't come to spirituality. It takes time. So we are trying our best.
All the best. Yes, continuing with Adideva Prabhuji.
Mataji.
So, yes, what changes have you observed in children who consistently participate in Krishna consciousness or these kinds of spiritual education program, Prabhuji?
Okay, lot of changes in terms of their outlook towards life
Oh my God.
and what are their goals in life. They kind of reorient their goals. You go and ask a regular child who's not exposed to, say, spiritual concepts. The child will say, I want to become a doctor, I want to become this, I want to become that, like that. But then what we have seen in children, I think I will take it as a biggest compliment. Many children tell, I want to become like Adideva Prabhu.
Oh,
you know,
nice.
so there are a lot of children who are directly my students who imitate. Now, this is not some pat on the back for me. This is what will happen with every mentor who acts as a very clear role model for any child. The child will begin to see that mentor as a person worthy of emulating. That my life can be a reflection of this person. So that kind of an impact a mentor can leave on a child. So what I have seen is overall at a large level. I mean, they begin to take up spiritual practices. That is all a different thing. But then what I have seen is this change in their vision,
Vision.
in their outlook, in what they want to do in life. So that is a very, very big change, and it's not an easy change. So one of the reasons why that happens is what I had explained. We have a structured curriculum,
Right.
and we also use a lot of modern educational, what we call as pedagogical technologies in our curriculum.
Right.
Like Bloom's taxonomy for objectives framing,
Right.
ADDIE model for instructional design. Like that, we have used modern things
Okay.
that regular academic institutions use to enhance the impact of our programs. So, at varying levels, different levels, we see change in children.
That is there, Prabhuji. But I also feel now the parents also feel like, okay, I am not in the spiritual growth. Let my child be there. So I have seen it will not happen. Hey, so he is going, she is going. Hey, you also go, you also go. So they just send them so that their children know something about spiritual or value based or education. They themselves are not aware. If they try to compare, like, okay, he is doing that, she is doing that, you go. But unless there is an awareness from the parent,
Right.
it will stay together. Is what does it matter? So now asking you, like, how do you measure a success in the child? Is it through their knowledge or through their behavior, values, or devotion, or leadership, or something else? If a child wants to say, I am successful, how do you say, like, what is success, in the spiritual education?
Okay, you asked knowledge,
Behavior.
you said okay, behavior,
Values.
values, devotion,
Yeah, what is it?
leadership. All right. Definitely, it can't be knowledge. Knowledge is only, it's only one of the ingredients in the soup of devotion. I
I
would say.
see.
So, knowledge is not a reflection of a person's spiritual standing. A person can be very knowledgeable, but in spirituality, the person could be a novice, a beginner.
Okay. Why is it so? Like,
Because I have seen sometimes in ISKCON, there are programs that focus on knowledge enhancement or cognitive development, what we call
Cognitive
technically.
development. Huh.
Like say, for example, there are programs like Bhakti Shastri,
Okay.
which basically is a study of Prabhupada's books, very in a detailed manner. I have seen devotees who have undergone Bhakti Shastri.
Okay.
In a conversation, they are telling, "Hey, I'm Bhakti Shastri, talk to me properly,"
I
like that.
see.
See, the outcome of knowledge should be Vidya Dadati Vinayam.
Vinayam. Right.
A person should become humble as their knowledge grows.
Enhance. Right.
So, if that is not happening, then knowledge remains only at a theoretical level. We become armchair philosopher, sitting on the armchair. Hey, do this like this. Hey, do it like this. I will never get up and do what is supposed to be done. I'm only giving instructions to others what needs to be done. So it definitely cannot be knowledge. Knowledge is not a yardstick for measurement. Everywhere, everywhere in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Shastras, our great personalities, they have always measured the outcome in terms of qualities of a person.
Right.
What qualities a person has. For example, Chanakya Pandit says, Ya pashyati sa panditaha.
Okay.
He says, one who has a vision like this is a learned person.
I see.
What vision? He gives 3 yardsticks for measurement. Matruvat paradahareshu paradadravyeshu loshtavat atmavat sarvabhuteshu yapashati sapandita. I'll not get into the details, but he talks about learning as learning can be measured based on these yardsticks, these 3 things that he talks about. If a person has this quality, and this quality, then that person can be called a learned person. Krishna tells that in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Etad jnanam iti proktam ajnanam yad ato anyatha. In the 13th chapter, 8th to 12th verse, 5 verses, he lists what we call as the items of knowledge. Some 18-20 items are there. He says, these are the items of knowledge. And he says, Etad jnanam. These are the items of knowledge. Ajnanam yad ato anyatha. Anything outside of this is ajnana, is ignorance.
Okay.
He says, so what are these items? All of them are qualities.
I see.
Amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, shanti. He's talking about pridelessness, humility, non-violence, peacefulness, tolerance. These are qualities. So everywhere in our Vedic pantheon, our devotional pantheon, we see that always a person's development is seen in terms of the qualities that person has. A pure devotee, we say, has 26 qualities.
Wow.
So everything is in terms of qualities. So that's one thing. But then ultimately, something that we cannot measure, nobody can measure, maybe Krishna, Guru and Krishna can measure, is the devotion of a person. So maybe the secondary measurement, benchmark is the values that a person has. Actually, what values the person possesses. The primary benchmark would be the devotion, which is very, very difficult because we can fake devotion.
Yeah.
If we know how a devotee acts, then we can actually fake devotion. We can show that I'm very devotional. Oh, I'm chanting very nicely. I'm participating in everything very nicely. But then, devotion may not have taken root in the person's heart. I mean, I'm saying it's possible. It's not that everywhere it is like that. I'm not saying that it is like that, but then it is possible. But devotion is a very, very personal benchmark, if I want to call it that will be the primary indication of a person's success in life. How devoted I am to the Lord, how surrendered I am to the Lord, that will be the benchmark. Right now, say I have a 2.5-year-old son. How can I understand if my son trusts me? Very gross example I'll give. I have put him on, say, a high pedestal,
Right.
something, and then I tell him, jump, Appa will catch you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Now he says, no. That means, the faith level
is little
less, right?
Right.
But then, generally, my son jumps. If
right.
I tell him, you jump, I will catch you, he'll jump. So that kind of dependence should be there on the Lord.
Oh, very nice.
That is an indication of a person's success. What dependence do I have on the Lord? That is an indication.
Whether it is good or bad.
Good dependence.
Okay.
Yeah. Whether the situation is good or bad.
That's
Yes,
what
yes.
I meant. Whether the situation. Sometimes when we have a very bad situation, we curse the Lord.
Exactly.
What have I done? Why has He done this to
Yes,
me?
yes.
I was not supposed to get this kind of karma.
What is the use of being a devotee?
Devotee. Yeah, I have seen it. What is the use of being a devotee? Because he has cancer.
Yeah.
Why God has given me, what has God has given me. So the dependence, you tell whether the situation good or bad, you just surrender to the Lord.
I'll give you my personal one incident that occurred in my life. My grandfather, he was a very devoted person. He was not a regular ISKCON devotee.
Okay.
But then he's from Palakkad, so that Narayaniyam, Guruvayur influence is a lot.
Right.
He was also, part of the Ayyappa,
Yes,
because
Ayyappa
generally
right. In Kerala.
that is a lot. So very devoted person, very pious, would always wear either saffron, mundu we call,
Yes.
veshti,
Veshti.
dhoti. So either saffron or dark blue, that is what he would wear. Nothing on the top, filled with rudraksha and tulsi.
Oh my God.
His top portion of the body was only filled by malas. And every day in the morning, evening, he would go to the temple, do puja at home. He was an agriculturist, had a lot of land. He was a landholder, and very pious man. But he got afflicted with bone cancer.
Oh my
Towards the later part of his life, and he had become like a skeleton. When I was in the ashram at that time, in the brahmachari ashram, towards my mother called me and told maybe in a few days he will leave. So I just thought, okay, I will go and meet him in his last days. So I was there for 3-4 days with him. I used to just sit next to him, read the Krishna book or Bhagavad Gita, like that. And one day, while I was reading, he had become very, very feeble, very weak. Only skin on the bones. He was like that. And he just told me, Magane, you know what people are talking? If his name was Natarajan, so if Natarajan has got this kind of a disease, maybe he did something with the temple funds. That is why God has given him this kind of a disease and he is dying like this, like that. But you know what? I think Krishna has given me, because I was a Krishna devotee, he spoke in terms of Krishna.
Lord.
He said, Krishna has given this disease to me so that I can always think of him. And I was very shocked to hear it from him. He quoted what Kunti Maharani says in the Bhagavatam, that Vipada Santuta Shashvat Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru. When Krishna was leaving to Dwaraka, after settling everything in Hastinapur, the Pandavas are all settled, Yudhishthir Maharaj has been installed as the emperor, everything was done, and Krishna was leaving to Dwaraka. That time Kunti Maharani goes and offers wonderful prayers in front of the Lord. One of the things she asks Krishna is, now you are leaving us and going because everything is all right. But when there were continuously problems, vipadas, continuously problems were there, you were always with us, Krishna. So now that all the problems apparently are gone, you are leaving us and going. If only problems are there, you will stay with us, then give us those problems again and again and again.
Oh my God.
So she said that you give us those problems so that we can always see you, and by seeing you, punar bhava darshanam, I will never take birth again. The bhava, this material world, I will not take birth again. So problems make us more Krishna conscious. My grandfather, who had absolutely no connection with any parampara, but he used to read Bhagavatam in Malayalam, he told this. I think Krishna has put me in this condition because he wants me to think about him.
Oh my God.
I had,
Yes, indeed,
goosebumps
me too. I'm having the same thing right now.
So I guess, devotion is a different thing already. And at that juncture, I don't think my grandfather would have faked it when he's in so much pain.
Nobody can fake
and
it.
he's at the last moments of his life. I don't think he would have faked it. I'm not saying he's some exalted devotee or something, but then the point is the the yardstick called dependence on Krishna is a true measure of success of a person.
So true. Such a nice example that I'm dumbstruck with to ask any more questions, with all the examples of Kunti Maharani you gave and your fathers, like, really grandfathers. Really, I don't have any words right now. Anyway, but still moving on, we all parents are so busy, so literally so busy that living in this kind of area that is such a spiritual, and the children are always struggling with Krishna consciousness because of the influence of social media, or because of the gaming, or because of, as we already spoke, with the sponge. And so what one tip would you give so that children also come, like, what one strike, like, or one, because that is more very much attractive to them, those world. This word, when I say, like, oh my god, bhajan, Narasimha Arati, who spends so much of time on a Sunday for this program? I will play cricket, I'll watch IPL. Or as you said, if I ask, because I also, as a teacher, I ask children, what is your vision when you grow up? So there's a wonderful vision, like, I want to be a prime minister. I want to be like Modi ji. Or, yeah, that's a wonderful vision. I also want to be like Virat Kohli. I want to be a cyber security. So they have their own vision,
Right.
but very few, like, unless I have traveled with ISKCON devotees and the families, only few told, like, I want to be a devotee. So, like, for those who have the wonderful vision but lack this this much of spirituality to enter, so one thing, Prabhuji, can you tell, like, tips so that we can bring those children to this beautiful spiritual path so that they can achieve their path with Krishna consciousness?
Prabhupada said whenever devotee would say something was very difficult, Prabhupada would always say, just do it. Again, I'll give one anecdote. In the beginning days when Prabhupada was in New York, that Manhattan area, 22nd Avenue. So that was the first center of ISKCON. And Prabhupada would give classes. They were not even actually calling Prabhupada. They would address him as Swamiji. And in the beginning days, this was, I think, even before Prabhupada initiated the first batch of devotees. And one of the devotees called Gargamuni Prabhu, he would not offer obeisance to Prabhupada when Prabhupada would enter the room. Everybody would have assembled in the room, and everybody would offer obeisance when Prabhupada would enter the room and then take his asana. Only Gargamuni Prabhu will be like this. So this went on for some time, and then he himself started becoming a little awkward. So he thought, okay, I will go ask Swamiji. And then he goes to Prabhupada and asks him, Swamiji, I don't offer obeisance when you come in. I hope you don't mind it. Then Prabhupada asked, why don't you offer obeisance? Then Gargamuni Prabhu said, because I don't feel it. And I don't want to do anything that I don't feel. So Prabhupada said, you begin to offer obeisance, the feeling will come later. So,
Right.
Like that, many times we think that a specific way of thinking will lead to a specific way of acting. This also true that a specific way of acting will lead to a new way of thinking.
Okay, very nice.
So our actions can also impact our mindset, just as our mindset can impact our actions. So sometimes if we even intellectually understand the importance of something, we should just jump into it and do it, and the rest of the things will follow. So in terms of tips, we should not make Krishna consciousness a set of rules for children.
Or forced one.
Yeah, or force it upon children.
Ah.
So for parents, don't make it dull, dreary, boring, forced, push it down the throat. That we should not do. So that's a tip. Make it. Krishna is Rasa Vigraha.
Rasa, indeed.
All the mellows are there in the
Indeed.
Lord.
Yes.
That if we are able to present it to children properly, then job is done.
So true, Prabhuji, very true. The podcast might run for series because we really don't have
Absolutely fine. We
time,
don't have any
Prabhuji,
other
because
engagements.
the questions are so much because of the lack of time. I have to cut it short today. So, what would be the
Oh,
one?
we have time.
You have time, Prabhuji. If you
Yeah, we
have
have
time, we
time.
can just go on.
You can finish whatever questions you
So maybe the space, the data might not have
okay.
that. Yes, Prabhuji. Can you share one or two inspiring stories from the VEDA program that has deeply touched your heart somewhere?
Okay, the VEDA program in itself is relatively new. We launched it only
Uh-huh.
6 to 8 months
Okay.
ago, so I don't have so much data.
Huh.
And we directly are not doing.
Not
It's all happening in the temples.
across.
It's a decentralized model.
Hmm.
But I have a lots and lots of anecdotes and case studies of inspiring things, that children have undergone.
Okay.
Through the programs that we have done all these years, so many that I'll have to really think,
Recall it.
recall which one.
Yeah.
Many, I mean, children becoming successful in their pursuits, academic career pursuits, children who have faced difficulties. Like I said, they fall back on Krishna and they come out of their difficulties. Like, I have had some of my students get into issues. Like one of my students got addicted to pornography, and then through prayer and through connection with the Lord, he came out of it. So there are so many instances like that, where one more set of 4 boys, they passed out of one of the tier 1 schools in Bangalore, 10th standard, and then they got into one of the tier 1 PU colleges in Bangalore. And then when they went there, they were in for a rude shock, cultural
shock,
because there was intermingling of boys and girls.
Yes.
Already illicit relationships going on.
Right.
Drugs,
Right.
alcohol, everything. And then one of the boys was talking to his mother, and then the mother asked, he told all these things after the first week, that I never expected this college will be like this. And the mother said, so you don't feel like you don't feel tempted to attempt any of those things, because these are all your classmates, all of them are doing it. He said, no, what we have learned from harmonics, we know that these things, where they will take us, where it will actually lead us to. So we know the consequences. We don't want to get into all of those things. The 4 of them went to the same PU college. They had all determined that we will keep, for academic purposes, we'll interact with other students, but we will remain as one unit like that. So, there are so many such instances that I can go on.
Yes, Prabhuji, that's really nice. And there's a question for Prasadeshwar Prabhuji as well. Prabhuji, your vision for children's education at ISKCON RR Nagar has, how has it taken over, Prabhuji, for so many days and years, and how the local families are participating? What would you like to have the vision for this Rajarajeshwari Nagar?
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, so as I said earlier, we have around 40 children in VEDA curriculum, which is Poganda and Kaishwara. And we also have a Gopal Fun classes, which is around 4.5 years to 6 years. So if you look at a vision now, maybe next year we would like to reach this to around at least 100 kids. That's a target. We have families, around 25 families are coming. This around 75 families want to within 1 year. That's the kind of a target. Because always, Prabhupada also say that you high think. Think high. Keep a higher target. Then only we can achieve better. So we are working on that. So our vision is that maximum children should participate. On that perspective, we are reaching out the schools, meeting the school principals and connecting with the schools, arranging a program in the schools, so that maximum kids can participate. Some parents may not be able to bring the kids here, or some kids are not, have such a favorable parents. So that's the reason we are going there. Today morning I was there in BT school, 1 hour spending with them. So like that, be different schools we are going. Vision is that next maybe 2-3 years, we want to cover all the schools in RR Nagar in Krishna conscious activity. That is, if you ask the vision.
That's wonderful, Prabhuji. That's really wonderful. So, one final question to Adideva Prabhuji. So, what one message would you leave for every parent who is watching this podcast today, and what would it be?
Okay, so I'll come back to where we started. I think one message would be one message to all the parents would be make Krishna the central personality in your child's life. Strive to do that. Bring Krishna as a center. Like Prabhupada said, if Krishna is a center of our family, of our locality, of our state, of our nation, of the entire globe, then there'll be no conflicts. I'll again, with a simple example, Prabhupada gave this example. He said, you throw a stone on a still body of water. Say a lake is there, the water is still. You throw a stone. What will happen?
Ripples.
Ripples will form from the point where the stone fell on the water. Now, here, say you've thrown the stone here and ripples are happening.
Yes.
Now you throw a stone next to that, maybe 1 foot away. What will happen?
Yes.
Again, concentric ripples will form. Now both of them will collide.
Right.
And the intensity of both will diminish. So in this world, why there are so many conflicts is because everybody's centers are different. Somebody's center is money, somebody's center is fame, somebody's center is something else. So everybody's centers are different, and that's why there is so much of collusion and conflict. But imagine if the first stone was thrown, and then exactly at the same point you are able to throw the second stone, and the third stone, and the fourth stone. Now what will happen? Ripples form, but it also increases in strength. So the whole goal of human life is to bring our consciousness to one entity, and that one entity can only be Krishna. So if Krishna becomes the center of a child's life, then everything else is taken care of.
That's wonderful, Prabhuji. That's really insightful, actually. So we are so grateful for you both in the efforts. Like, Krishna says efforts matter, right? So whatever you do, efforts really matter, whether it's in a relationship or you're building an effort with Lord Krishna. So you both are also like an iota of Lord Krishna, or a part of Lord Krishna, for bringing or shaping the next generation of children and also the devotees through this meaningful program. I'm so happy that I thank Adideva Prabhuji for
Thank you so much.
spreading this such a wonderful message, and also Prasadeshwar Prabhuji for creating this in this locality, so that those who are staying in this divine area can also get the good benefits of this program. So for all our viewers, I would like to say that please bring your children to this beautiful program at ISKCON Rajarajeshwari Nagar, and whatever your child's vision is, whether he wants to become a Kohli, or he wants to become a Tendulkar, or he wants to become a Donald Trump, but let them not become just that. Let them become something more spiritual with Krishna around them, and let them visionize their spirituality, their success, their growth through devotion. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.